Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 21 of Mushoku Tensei, Magic Circle to the Sixth Stratum. Or I think it was slightly called something differently on Crunchyroll for some reason, but they changed it at the end of the episode. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I am someone who's read the light novel, and I am here with two anime onlys. The first one is Jarkey Bacon.
Oh, it's me this time. I'm first, taking gold as per usual. Everybody is back to the normal way that everything should be.
All right, and we also
Last
have...
week, I remember having a great bit. Shut up, EliteAri.
Go ahead.
Kyle Entertainment is here to speak all the truths to the evil Mushoku Tensei naysayers. An army and audience of bad people, EliteAri. That's what the internet tells me, at least. Except for your comment section.
Yep.
Yeah, no, the comment section. We didn't get our ratings last time, though. I was a bit disappointed.
Yep.
Yes, we need ratings.
I think we did get the most comments out of any discussions for some reason, even though it was like one day before the next episode. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and actually some of them were like, wow, this was a really good discussion. I was like,
they were so positive last week, even though EliteAri was so mad at us, Bacon, telling them how shit the episode was.
Well, and you tried to poison the water against me by saying, okay, guys, I feel sorry, don't get hurt. I was like, dude, there's no way.
You read that comment before they watched it and we're so ready for Bacon to be mean. It was great.
And then you were the worst at the start. I just got mean later on. So
yeah.
All right, so guys, this is the episode where, you know, Roxy got saved last episode, and now we're spending some time with Roxy, basically.
We got the flashback you wanted, Ari. We did.
Oh, yes.
At least a little bit.
I guess we can say that even before the recap. Last time I did spoil that in the light novel, we got more context for Roxy's backstory. And even, we did get some stuff here, and I was very excited to see it, and I was very shocked to see it, because they never do this. They never show me the point of view when I want to see it. But it wasn't anywhere near as much as the light novel, but it was a good addition. I was glad they put it in,
This was a very Roxy episode.
It was indeed.
A very rocky episode.
So okay, guys, what did you think about it?
No, Alita, you go first with your overall thoughts. I want to hear that the production was bad or something.
All right, so as per usual, no, actually, this was a interesting episode because firstly, when I first watched it, I was like, man, that was really good. And then a week later, when I came to write this recap and I watched it again, I was like, it was pretty good, but I don't know, doesn't feel like. I don't know. I just nothing really.
I don't know. It looks just as good as the previous week. Honestly,
wait a minute. In terms of production, it's undeniable. This one was infinitely better than the last one. There's so many.
What?
I even listed. I said in my first note here, I said this was a great looking episode, and then I have 3 examples. I said there's a lot of little things that add up. For instance, when Roxy comes back to the inn and Lilia and Shiera and Viera run up to her, I'm like, man, this is why they don't have to do this animation, but they're doing it. It's great.
That's true. I didn't notice that.
Thank you.
I'll give you that.
There's the establishing shot of the band in the bar, which is a very storyboarding element that you don't have to have there that I thought was really cool. You have when Paul has that goofy expression on his face, and then behind him, Elinalize is giggling.
Yeah, that was great.
Stuff like that you don't have to have. So it's a bunch of small details like that where I'm like, this is good. It's the small little things that make the difference.
I wouldn't say the drawing looks much better, or definitely the cinematography looks much better, or the animation was much better. They added in small moments, which is nice, but I wouldn't say that's exceedingly oh my word, this is way better.
Well, the only, if I wanted to, I guess for me, there's one shot that stands out as bad, but everything else to me looked good. The only bad shot I can think of is when they all arrive at the inn, and before you flash to Lilia hugging Roxy, you see all of them together. And they kind of look especially Geese, and a lot of them, they kind of look a bit off model. But beyond that, nothing stood out to me like they did last episode, where I'm like, man, these characters look a bit weird, and we're holding on these shots for quite a long time. To me, it felt I don't really have some objective examples or anything, but it did feel much more.
Do you expect me to expect you to give me anything objective?
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right, Bacon. I guess you're right.
Yeah, there you go.
Owned in real time, crazy.
Anyway,
this episode looks like every episode of Mushoku Tensei.
Thank you, Carl.
No. You mean every episode of Mushoku Tensei Season 2, which looks infinitely worse than Season 1.
Hold up. So actually, I'll even go out and say the last episode had better animation.
Oh, I don't know about that. There were a lot of fights in this episode, which had a lot of Sakuga. I didn't even point out the fights, Bacon. Oh my god.
Yeah, but last time I had a more elaborate Sakuga fight. If you want to be a Sakuga bro, I do think the small animation was better than this. The whole I've already forgotten it. What's the name? Lydia? What's the name?
Lilia.
What's her face?
Lilia.
It's running up that's just. I would want to say that's
point off Bacon.
That's indicative of what I would strong key animation. It wasn't smooth, but it was 3 frames, and it gave you all the information you needed to know on her, how she ran, and kind of thing. So that's that's something I think particularly Japanese animation generally does really well. If you look at Western 2D animation Disney, it's always really, really smooth and kind of and even like lots of anime movies are like that. But if you watch something like Gurren Lagann or like that, it's or like lots of TV anime, it's just like when they're very economical with just like their posing, so strong posing, and your brain just fills in the gaps, and there's a catharsis to it. So yeah. Anyway, weird tangent.
All right. Well, so guys, what do you think of the episode?
Bacon, you go first.
I can't believe I'm going first. This episode, well, it was good. I liked it a lot.
Oh wow. Oh my god. I'm surprised. Okay.
This episode was so freaking good, EliteAri. Oh my god.
Really?
It was the best episode this season easily. Fuck the rest of this shit season. Maybe the best episode in the whole show.
Wait,
Roxy
you joking?
swooning was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life, EliteAri. They were just flirting the whole episode. No, I was
my God.
so happy.
I was not
Okay,
expecting
I
that.
was trying to understand
Well, what
why
were you
I like
expecting?
this so much. I was
I
like,
thought, oh my
did you
god.
like? Oh my word! This
Well, I
is
know
great.
last episode, both of you seemed to dislike it for different reasons, but you both seemed to agree
No.
that, like, I guess you didn't agree. I know Bacon didn't like the Roxy stuff at the end, so I was a bit concerned about Bacon, continuing the storyline.
She
with Roxy
peed and
there.
it was hot.
I know Kyle liked that element, but I know that Kyle doesn't care about anything else in the show besides, like, I don't even know what he likes about the show, so I don't.
Flirting and kissing.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yep. Anyway, I'm glad you both like it. I'm glad Kyle's the best episode ever. Anyway, okay. Anything else besides doing a recap now? There's a lot to talk about, I guess.
I feel like if we go on your recap, then we'll probably pick up something because
Yeah,
often I
true.
feel like I front end all my thoughts. But
All
I
right.
just want to say, EliteAri, I did watch this episode right as it came out because I was just so hopping excited for Roxy and Rudius to reunite. And maybe at the
It was
beginning
so
I was
cringe.
slightly let down, but
Unbelievably
by the rest
cringe.
of it, I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. They're in
Yeah.
love, EliteAri.
Okay.
this is like, oh my word, crazy. I would say soy, but that's actually not a bad thing. This is like, yeah, neck beard.
Kissing
that's it.
can't be soy now.
All right. Well, first up.
Oh, EliteAri, my point was I
Oh
don't
my
remember much of any of the details of this episode, so you're gonna have to recap this, God.
Oh, what a good idea. So, at the beginning, okay, we get a flashback to Roxy's month in the labyrinth, and she's marking a wall, and then she explores the labyrinth, and then she always ends up back at that same wall. It's kind of crazy. That's basically the gist of it. Now, there's a few details, okay? She contemplates that she hasn't done anything with her life, and she wants to be a teacher and taste ordinary happiness like her parents have. And then we flash to the same shot as the ending of the last episode where Rudy hugs her and starts sniffing her, and then she pushes him away and introduces herself and asks who he is, and then Rudy is shocked and throws up. So this whole beginning.
Oh yeah,
part of
this
the
is
episode,
where I
basically.
thought this was going to be the worst episode of all time. I'm like, oh no, they're cucking us out of another reunion with a stupid meme.
Yeah.
It was literally Ilva doesn't recognize Thorfinn in real time, but then they made up for it, I guess.
The sniffing was the only thing cringe, but him throwing up, I thought was actually quite funny. The voice acting, I was like, I couldn't tell if he threw up or not. If you just like making
It was a
wacky
crazy
sounds.
bit of voice acting. Yeah, it was.
I'm finna sniff.
Like, every time I watch
mean,
it, I've watched it a
okay.
few times. I didn't like it. I was like, man, this is too exaggerated. I mean, okay. So firstly, yes, it's a comedy. Like, I guess you can interpret it as a comedy moment. When I was reading, I didn't really see this as a comedy moment. I was like, oh, I guess, Rudy is extremely in turmoil here because the person he looked up to after all this time doesn't remember him. But it's fine. I laugh now, even though I don't like the voice acting here.
Yeah.
All right.
Your mother's a voice actor.
Oh,
No, she's
don't
not.
go there, Carl. That's dangerous territory. Whew, sheesh.
All right. Well, is this the point where I tell you that there were a few details from the light novel that were missing? And I have.
Oh my
three-
god, I'm so excited.
I have three things here, and I haven't read this since I wrote this, so I don't know what these say. I said the first is the looping of fight. Oh, basically in the light novel, okay, let me clarify here. In the anime, you get a bit less understanding what's actually happening here. In the light novel, she talks about how she's basically stuck in this very small room, which is the room she's like marking the wall in. She has one teleporter in front of her, and it only takes her
Marking
back
it
to
with
that
a
same
P,
room,
bro.
I think. So like she gets back into the teleporter, goes into the room with the monsters that we see her at, like at the end of last episode and like the beginning of this episode. She fights the monsters a bit, and for some reason there's three teleporter circles in there, and one of them for some reason they never go in through the monsters. So she always goes back in that, and it takes her to this small room. It's like a loop back and forth, whatever. And then you get like a few details about how the monsters are actually smart, and they're like trying to stop her from getting into the teleportation circle. And you also get details about how she's like eating the monsters to survive, and I don't know, small things like that. But for the most part, we got all of this in a nice little thing.
You
at the
missed all the
beginning,
Bear
so-
Grylls.
Oh, what was
Pretty
she
much, yeah.
drinking in order to pee?
The water from her magic, because she's a mage, Kyle. So there we
Oh
go.
my god.
Oh, so she wasn't
made the
actually
whole
going Bear
cup.
Grylls.
I mean, she made her own water. Isn't that like the most Bear Grylls thing you can do? So I'm impressed. Okay, beginning stuff, crazy. Then they leave the labyrinth, and during their trek out, Talahand is carrying Roxy, and Rudy notes that she's pretty much the same as ever. And when they arrive at the headquarters, everyone's happy to see Roxy. Crazy. Anything to say about this?
Does Rudy know that she's actually 90?
Yeah, because when he visited her parents, they said that, oh, she's like 50 or 60 or, oh no, 50 something.
Oh, I forgot he went there.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we just have an argument for a second and talk about how good the opening is?
I skipped it.
What do you like about the opening?
Because you both complain about it every time. The song's so cool.
I don't have too much of an issue.
I actually can't remember the song.
Why is the audience not on my side in the comment section? Because obviously they love everything about this show, so they love the opening. So why aren't they giving you, EliteAri, some shit?
Because, you know, I did say that there are some parts of the opening I like the Paul fist bump thing. I think that's pretty cool.
Nobody cares about the visuals.
I do.
It's a sick song.
Well, the song is pretty good. It's okay. You know, it's not the best.
No, you said it was bad before. I know you did.
Yeah, but you know, I've warmed up to this opening generally.
I didn't need warming up. I'm a real Mushoku Tensei fan.
The best part of the opening is obviously the visuals at the end, where it's like a big quick montage of all these little flashes of things that are to come, and it's like, what is all this? You know, I like that.
Like that fucking ice dragon, bro.
No, that's like the whole beginning part, which I don't like.
Oh.
But it's okay. Anyway, okay. Roxy spends a few days recovering. Yeah, you won. That's fine. She spends a few days recovering, and this is all the stuff that Kyle probably likes. But Roxy wants to refer to Rudy more formally, but he insists that she call him Rudy. It's the first thing. Then,
no, it was still maybe the worst episode of all time at this point. They weren't flirting yet.
Interesting. Okay. Geese says he wants to re-enter the labyrinth in 3 days because there's a belief in this world that if you almost die in a labyrinth and don't go right back inside, you'll end up cursed and will never be able to go back in. Crazy. A lot of curses in this, don't you think?
And Rudy had some sort of real world explanation for that or something, didn't he?
She was saying it was like trauma. So this makes me then think that Eliza's curse is just like is also trauma.
That would be awesome. Hold on, that fixes everything. If it's actually just like a placebo thing, and she's just horny actually, instead of it being some bullshit, she got cursed, therefore she's horny bacon. You're a genius. Mushoku Tensei just saved itself. But probably not.
I guess we'll see.
I mean, it's interesting. It's like, maybe if I knew more about her relationship with Mr. Seawall.
Mr. Who?
Then Seawall.
Am I not getting a reference here? What are you?
Roxy.
I'm lost too.
Mr. Dover. Isn't his name Cliff?
You're just saying words. Cliff, yeah. What does Cliff have to do with...
Yeah, it's like it's a wall.
I understand. I understand. Okay, genius, baby.
I still don't understand.
Like a cliff. You know what a cliff is in real life, Kyle?
Yeah.
It's like
unbelievable.
A sea wall. Like a wall, like kind of at the sea, because you're like, it's like an edge.
Oh, I guess.
All right, good job, Bacon. Go ahead, Kyle. Yeah, Bacon. Yeah, what's your point?
I was wondering if I knew more about their thing, maybe it'd be more obvious that there was more trauma, and then Cliff didn't have like, oh, I'm special magic against curses. He's just actually giga chad, emotionally open, and understands what his partner needs, which would be unbelievable.
Wait, Bacon, it's probably some rape backstory thing, and that turned her into a slut, bro. Or something like that. I bet that's what it is, because that's some fucking old-timey bullshit.
Well, we'll get onto this later.
Been ruined, and that's why she wants to have
suggestions. There are suggestions. So
what's a suggestion about what?
And we'll unpack this later, Carl.
Okay, we'll get to it later. I guess firstly, just to say about curses and stuff. So there's two types of things that we've kind of heard in the story so far. They've referred to curses, which Rudy is a bit like, this is a curse, or like, this is a weird thing in this world. And for instance, we have like you have to dive, if you leave a labyrinth, you have to go back quickly or whatever if your life is in danger, because otherwise you'll never go back. It's not really a curse. We also had the thing before about how like, when Rudy was about to name his kid, and they're like, oh, you can't name a kid because that means you're not going to come back. Or like, there's like curses like that, where it's like, are these really curses? And is this just like a thing of this world that they don't really understand, or they have an easier, more intuitive way of explaining it or something? Then there's like, people who are called cursed children, who are like literally like Zainoba, who is technically, I guess, a blessed child, and all cursed children are probably blessed children or whatever, but where they're like, there's literally something about them that is different. Like Zainoba is incredibly strong, right? We learn about, say, Orsted or Laplace, who have the curse of being feared by every living creature or whatever. So there are actual curses in this as well. So I guess we'll see what side, if we ever find out what EliteAri's curse is. So anyway.
Crazy.
Then
I got my eye to the ground.
That's
figure it out.
Good to hear. We got a new dynamic. So we have Roxy, who is clearly having a crush on Rudy, in my opinion. Okay, while Rudy is completely oblivious
Bold take.
and sees her as his master that he's obsessed with, basically. What did you guys think of this dynamic here? Is that how you interpreted what's going on here?
Yes.
So you think?
Well,
like,
I think
it's a
Rudy's
one-sided
just
kind of...
doing the. No, I think Rudy just doesn't realize it because we're doing the stupid protagonist is stupid thingy. Because otherwise they'd both be into it. Now, eventually he's going to figure it out because the actual interesting thing here is Rudy going to cheat Lamau? Great. I'm super invested. Never been more invested in anything in mystery. Too bad I kind of know the answer, or at least I think I do because of spoilers. So we're going to have to prod Bacon for an interesting answer. Though he's probably like, I don't care about relationship stuff. So I like Vinland.
Well, now you just spoiled me. Jeez.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, you
Well,
said
earlier reckons I'm not even actually spoiled, and it's just something I heard.
I think Kyle overestimates what he's heard, so we'll see. Time will tell. All right. Wait, were we in the middle of something? I don't remember. What were we talking about? No,
I don't know. What part of the recap are we on to?
We were talking about this new dynamic and what you think's happening, which I think is
well,
pretty
they have
obvious.
little moments later. I don't know if you're going to go over every single one of them, or if we
won't.
bring them up now, EliteAri.
Bring them all.
Oh
up.
my God,
what
EliteAri! What the fuck are you writing notes about?
I mean,
fucking,
maybe.
If you stand here, there's a staircase or something. Nobody gives a fuck, EliteAri.
And then I'm going to quote the light novel. It's going to be great.
Shut up. And there's, well, that might be cool, but who cares that it's the same thing that him and Analyze came through? EliteAri, boring. The one time they're sitting back to back to each other, and she's like, "Put your head on my shoulder" or something, and that was really cute.
Can I use?
And
your
then one time, yes, and then she asked him. She did the thing where a girl asked you out on a date, but she can't actually ask you out on a date because that's crazy, and girls would never do that. So she's like, "Can we go and do a little dungeon together by ourselves?" And oh my God, it was so ooh crazy. I was freaking out. EliteAri, greatest episode of all time. And I'm sure there was others, but apparently you didn't write them down because you want to talk about some other bullshit. So I'll scroll through the episode.
I probably did write that. Now that you're saying the stuff you're saying, I did write all this down. Don't worry. And you know that scene is also our thumbnail right here. Everyone's looking. They're like, "Wow, what was this thumbnail where Roxy and Rudy are back to back?" That's the thumbnail right there. Anyway,
that's crazy.
Bacon.
So
what do you?
What I get is like, why don't you watch more romance anime?
Rom-coms, you're so smart at the Jarkey Bacon, you're a genius.
Yeah, like why didn't you do that?
I love Yamada's First Time, it's my favorite show. I love Steins Gate, that's my favorite romance. I love Berserk, that's a pretty good romance. I love Black Lagoon, that's a pretty good cucking you out of a romance the whole time. Neon Genesis Evangelion, I love that one.
Yep, Chainsaw Man.
Mad Men, that's a pretty good romance show. Chainsaw Man is my favorite romance at the moment, even better than Mushoku Tensei. Fire Punch, he be loving.
Excellent.
I already do, Bacon.
Bacon, I'm curious.
Oh my God,
Bacon.
I muted the episode deleter. I'm hearing Roxy in my ears. Don't worry, it's muted.
Bacon, last episode you had an issue with Roxy being portrayed in a certain way. Did that issue continue into this episode? Were there any cringeworthy moments of the way she was portrayed? You think?
There was plenty, but I managed to stave off and enjoyed the not so cringe moments I thought were more interesting. I mean, the whole like sniffing thing at the beginning, that was super cringe. And I'm sure like in the light novel it's like, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing of all time. He's actually got this whole done monologue, which is like doing all the stuff, man. And maybe it is, but I've seen the exact same animation of like sniffing.
Oh my God, EliteAri, she's like putting her toes together and stuff. Greatest shot in the whole show.
That was a very cool shot. Small insert things like that.
She's really swooning. I'm in love.
All right.
Yeah,
I would Rudy say was a little bit interesting and not a boring fucking idiot. Maybe the show would be good.
True.
Back off me somehow, you know.
Yeah, there is something about like I guess I didn't realize that he didn't really clock that, but it makes sense. But yeah,
because he'd be fucking her right now if you realize he's an idiot.
Yeah, but then anyway, and then it's done like the really like obvious thing of like, oh, she doesn't know, like it's like she's like at the end she's like, oh, do you have a girlfriend? It's like no, she's her, my girlfriend. No, right? And then it's just like okay, she assumes that it's like. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty basic.
Oh my God, EliteAri, after she gets told yes, she does a little fist clench.
True. Yeah.
Okay, that was cool. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
But
there's a lot of really small moments like that. I'm like, this is so cute. All right. When you were saying
Bacon, okay, to me there's like okay, it would be cuter if that wasn't like if he wasn't already married.
That is true.
That's it. That's
I love cheating.
Yeah, and I hate it.
That's why he couldn't get into Mad Men. That's why Jarkey Bacon dropped it after one.
Yeah, dude, that was it was great. Mad Men was great. I will say one of the greatest episodes I ever watched of TV. But I won't watch the next one. But yeah.
Don't listen to EliteAri. We're gonna watch it one day, okay?
All right.
Maybe I'd watch it for content. Who knows?
Okay, there's one more thing here, and then I want to say something about what Bacon said. But Rudy in this scene, we're back at this. No. I just want to provide a little bit of context. So Rudy, we got this new dynamic with Roxy, and Rudy thinks she's acting weird because he got taller than her, and he knows that she's always cared about how short she is. Small little detail like that. Anyway, about what Bacon was saying, I should probably preface that the way that this whole saving Roxy bit at the beginning of this episode, at the end of the last one, for instance, as well. The way it's portrayed in the light novel is very... It kind of skips over a lot of stuff where it's like, you see it from Rudy's perspective when they're traveling, just like you did last episode. You see it from Roxy's perspective, and you don't see how Rudy really got to where Roxy was. Like, you don't see them, like in the episode, I guess, where you don't never see him break down the wall. You just hear about it. Him saying, like, Paul is telling Roxy about how Rudy said, I smelled a goddess or something. And then he like broke down walls to get to me or whatever. And I know there are a lot of people who, before the episode came out, they were like, oh my God, I wonder if we'll actually get the adapted, like, scene of him saying that and him, like, running towards her or something, but we never see it. What was I going to say? I don't even know what I'm replying to at this point. But Bacon said something about the beginning scene. Oh, about the comedy of, like, him, like, sniffing her or whatever, and that being, like, a cringe, like, why is he sniffing her? I do think it is still somewhat portrayed like that in the light novel. So, yeah, light novel bad, basically.
I see.
Anyway.
Well,
Sniffing actually good, so both good.
Yeah.
Right, EliteAri?
I find it in character. I don't like sniffing in general. Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe she smells good.
I don't think
Carl,
so.
Carl, have you ever thought about
bro.
watching Rent a Girlfriend?
I know vague things about it, but I hear that they never actually get together, so that would make me not so happy, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's tons that you could actually... I think there's loads that are out there where they do get together, but then it's like just a car crash. I feel like you would like a car crash romance, right? Surely. So
What does that mean?
like an absolute dumpster fire.
Like
drama.
you don't like it? Like the series is a car crash? I get it. Yeah, I love romance dramas, you know?
Yeah. I'm just...
Alright, guys.
Yeah, anyway, continue on.
So, they re-enter the labyrinth to explore the third stratum, and they fight a few monsters before Roxy asks to take a break because she's low on mana, and this is where we get that big scene here. So, Roxy asks to borrow Rudy's back for a moment while she rests, and then she asks him if he'd go on a labyrinth adventure with her alone one day, and after they save Zenith. Then Rudy immediately accepts, but then reflects on how he might not have time since he's going to have a kid to raise. And then he realizes he can just wait until he has time. So, yeah. We talked about this already.
He's a stupid.
Yep. Then they enter the fourth stratum and have a quick fight where Rudy uses Quagmire. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the thing. So Rudy's being portrayed like very consistently. It's just like as being a horny boy and basically interpreting lots of things really quickly. Like, would not like Roxy laying on this. Maybe it is like. But then he also like still like.
You think it's weird how oblivious he is, or how he just doesn't?
Yeah, maybe like or at least or like not that he's oblivious to feelings. Right, that makes sense. It's just more that he's like stoic, and now he's like the least horny man on the planet, which is like. Kind of
maybe like he's been oblivious to before. Like I remember with the Sarah thing, he was like figuring it out as it happened, and he was freaking out a little bit in a positive way. I do feel like the old Rudius like would have been like, oh, she wants to go on a thingy. He might not even realize that she's trying to go on a date with him, but he might be like, I'll be alone with her and I could fuck her in the cave, bro, or something like that.
Maybe.
But maybe he is just marriage pilled. I don't know.
Maybe he is. But then there's suggestions later, and we'll get on to it.
I think
marriage pill, very unbased, by the way.
People
I think there's.
I don't know my foreshadowing. I'm gonna get you guys.
Oh boy. In regard to Rudy, I think there's an interesting thing going on here where it has been the last time that Rudy did see Roxy, he was a child. He was like 5 years old or something. And I think the way, for instance, there is one scene which I think I just skipped over here, where she's like reading the book and he's pacing back and forth, just like watching her basically read the book. And just always wants to be around her, but isn't really doing anything, just wants to be around her. That feels very childlike to me. Whereas like I could imagine a 5-year-old Rudy kind of doing this, where it's like, to him, Roxy is still like he even pointed it out, where it's like Roxy's still the same person to his eyes. Like the dynamic hasn't changed at all. From his perspective, he's still the mentor, the young like person who is looking up to this Roxy, who to him now over time has grown up to become a goddess, basically. Like he
so
worships.
You're saying
like,
Roxy's the pedophile now.
I don't think this has... I'm not saying this from like a sexual perspective. I'm saying in terms of the dynamic that these two have from Rudy's perspective. It kind of seems like he still looks up to her and he still sees himself...
take advantage of this.
Well,
What would you do if your primary school teacher you hadn't seen an ages,
Jarkey Bacon, this is not going the way you think it's going, my friend. My goodness.
Okay, continue. What?
Wait.
Hello?
Yes, wait.
I answered the question through the enthusiasm of not answering.
Okay. Jeez.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How's that even a question?
They enter the fourth stratum and have a quick fight. Oh, I read that already. Okay, there's a cute exchange, right? The cutest exchange in this episode, perhaps, which I pointed out before, and why this episode was so good. No, this isn't even the one. I was talking about the other Paul line. So yes, we have Paul and EliteAri.
I love Paul.
Just wait. Believe it or not, Kyle, this point has nothing to do with Paul. So they're fighting, okay? And Paul points out that EliteAri always wants to take the left side. And then she says that she wants to take the left side. She always hates fighting with a wall near her sword hand. I was like, this is a cute detail.
That was
we love EliteAri. She gives little details like this that make her, a more fleshed out character. She doesn't like fighting with a wall on her left, we love it. On her right, sorry.
We like EliteAri. She's okay.
Yeah.
Paul.
You know what? There's a lot of times in this discussion series where I say, oh my god, they've butchered, who can I even say? Ariel, they've butchered Luke, they've butchered Cliff, like all these characters where I'm like, I don't understand how you as anime onlys can find these characters interesting at all, because there's so much left out from them. Yeah, maybe you don't, yeah. And I buy it. Bacon, I absolutely buy it, okay? Because there's not much details of them in this anime. Anyway, however, one of those characters that is also butchered and is missing a lot of details is EliteAri. However, I do feel like, I do feel like she has gotten enough in this season that she does feel fleshed out as a character. To me, she, even just like from what we've seen in the anime, it does feel like to me you could value her as a character, even if you're only anime only. And maybe you guys disagree. I don't know. You guys are the anime only.
So I mean, I definitely warmed up to her, but it's taken me probably about like 19 episodes.
Yep.
Just because, her introduction is like kind of boring. They're very typical, basically. It's taken her time to like be like, oh, okay, her character's some interesting things to it. And even then, like her, like, I actually thought one of my favorite scenes was her and Paul being like, yeah, I'm so cool, because he had a really cool line. And then I was like, it was almost like called me out, because like, wow, Paul is cooler than I thought. And then he does that. I'm just like, he got me too. Yeah. So
Paul ain't cool.
Funny.
All right, we'll get there. We're getting there, guys. So Rudy.
Now, EliteAri, I was just thinking, and also you didn't ask me what I thought about EliteAri. You just let Bacon answer. All
right, go ahead.
The best EliteAri.
Okay.
Now, I was just wondering, EliteAri. I was reflecting back, and I was like, what is EliteAri's introductory scene? I'm trying to think. Now, I remember early on, she did fuck a bunch of guys in the room, and Roxy was there, and she freaked out. That was pretty great. That was a 10 out of 10 introduction. But that wasn't her introduction, EliteAri. So she probably was introduced with Galafan, or whatever his name is. Talahan, that's the fella's name. He's gay, apparently, we found out last episode. Now, they were introduced together, right, EliteAri? And then they met Roxy, I bet.
Yeah, so they were at Fatoa, the displacement incident recovery place, and they were looking at the list of the dead, and Roxy was looking at Paul and Rudy's family, and she turns around, and there's two of them behind her, and they're like, oh, you're here for Paul? Okay, what an idiot, that Paul, or something like that. It was a great introduction.
Yeah, Paul sucks, but okay, I remember now.
All right. Anyway, now we got the best scene where Rudy thinks that Paul's gotten stronger, and he's like, Dad, have you gotten stronger? And Paul's like, if anything, I've gotten weaker. And then he turns around, and he has this pleased, goofy look on his face, and then that's when EliteAri is giggling behind him, and I think that's what the scene that Bacon was just talking about.
Yeah, I thought the face was like not so cool, but then for some reason EliteAri's voice acting I felt very genuine, so didn't feel very anime. I was like, oh, that was actually quite cool. Yeah, it got me.
And I hate anime.
Yeah,
yeah.
But you love the scene, right?
Anime is awful.
No.
Unbelievable. Okay.
And so when he said I've gotten weaker, has he actually gotten stronger, or has he just gotten more in shape, or does he perform better because Rudius is there, but he's still actually weaker than he was when he was younger, right?
No, I think he thinks it's a compliment that Rudy thinks he's gotten stronger, and so he's just like, nah, I got weaker, bro. I used to be way cooler than this. So it's like a little brag thing, but then he's also happy that his son thought he was really cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do that. Even at work, I'll be like, man, just filled a bunch of shit, super cool, putting shit on shelves. And the other guy will be like, how did you do that so quick? And you go, I used to be quicker, bro.
Yeah, true. Oh my god.
I understand the vibe, yeah.
So you can relate to Paul here, right? That's crazy.
No, Paul sucks.
So also, Carl, did you ever think about... Actually, no, I'll bring this up later.
All right. In regards to Paul's strength, I would, if my guess is that... Actually,
better write it down, Bacon. I know you're going to forget.
Yeah, actually,
no, I don't forget these things.
Paul was an S rank adventurer. Adventuring every day. He was very strong back in the day when he was 19 to 22 or something. And then he he became an alcoholic and was very drunk all the time, and he got weaker there. But he still beat Rudy in a fight basically when they met in the end or middle of season 1. And now he's kind of been a bit depressed. He's lost, it looks like he's probably lost a bit of weight. I would say, if I were to assess at this point, he's probably weaker than he actually was before. But yeah, he probably sees it as a compliment. He's like, oh my god, Rudy actually thinks I'm stronger. So that would be my reading of it. But I would still say
and
that
it's pretty also like he needs a bit of affirmation from somewhere that he's.
Oh yeah,
doing
it
better,
probably
right?
does wonders for his sense of self-worth and everything. Now, I think it's still important to point out that Paul is probably not probably, he is undeniably still the strongest of this like group that's going into this labyrinth.
But
like-
Rudy could beat him easy, right?
Well, that's the thing. We've never seen them fight. There was like a little. Well, we have seen them fight once, and the drunken Paul beat Rudy. But I don't know. That's a good question. Would Paul beat Rudy? I guess
Paul ain't stronger than the Demon King forearms guy, obviously.
that's true. But that guy did knock
his
out
name
Rudy.
But
is,
he is
begins
strong
with
enough
B.
for Orsted to know
Wait,
who
Bacon,
he
what is
is,
it? What
so
is
it's
it?
pretty cool.
His name begins with B, right?
Yes. Oh my god, look at you.
Beirut.
Badagari?
Oh wow, well done. Yeah, no.
Badagari, there you go.
Yeah,
Wow,
I was just
that's very
making a
good.
joke. I know.
But he's not as strong as
about
Rigid, right? Rigid is stronger.
Oh boy. I guess they had that face-off scene
That's
together,
an
right?
interesting question.
Wait, who? Badagari or Rudy?
Well,
No, Rigid
Paul.
versus Paul.
Oh, I think I would say undeniably Rujed is stronger than Paul. Rujed is like
okay, we're doing the
yeah.
Shonen Bros.
What?
things.
Yeah, he's been living
Then
years.
Rugid.
No.
Wait, Paul or I don't even know who we're talking about at this point. In terms of like the
Rujed is-
characters
Rudy
we've
could
seen,
beat them both easy.
maybe
Rudy could beat them both at once, bro.
In certain circumstances, Rudy could probably beat anyone that we've seen so far, except for like the big.
He's just going to
bad
power up
saying,
his special beam cannon. I understand.
Well, yeah, if he did
but
that,
his is a little bullet thing.
Yeah. Who do you actually? Okay, in terms of the characters we've seen on screen,
Power
obviously, obviously the strongest is Dragon God Orsted. He's kind of like the bar.
Well, maybe the man god is stronger. You don't know.
Well, okay. Oh, I guess you're probably right. Maybe. But we haven't seen him fight. It'd be a bit weird if we did see him fight. We have who else? We have Ghislaine. She was really strong, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
She was a.
She could beat up.
Oh, yeah, she was
Sword
strong.
King. Yep. We have Rujerd,
She's
who is
also very
Beat
lucky,
up
as we
Paul.
found out.
she is very lucky. Yeah. I don't know. There's a bunch of characters. I don't want to name them all. Anyone else that stands out? Badagari.
Eris could beat Paul.
We have
obviously,
Eris. Eris
and
is pretty strong.
Rugid. Yeah.
Yep. We had that one sword and
If
dogfight.
Zeno loses his shit EliteAri, then he could beat everyone.
Zenob.
Oh,
strong,
that's
yeah.
true.
We have Cliff, who's a
Dude,
prodigy
Zenob is
magician.
Nah, he sucks.
All right. We have Kisharika,
Yeah, that's right.
pink-haired little girl who's not a little girl. She's actually very old. And
She's a little demon girl. Yes, she's.
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, that
strong,
one.
maybe.
Oh, she is the worst character in this whole entire.
no, she's the
series.
best.
Oh, my word.
She's one of the best in this
She's
anime.
unbelievably.
They adapted her perfectly, Bacon. I can't believe it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just such a big fan of little girl, but actually really, really old.
Well,
Yeah.
she's not. The thing is that she doesn't even behave old. She behaves like a little girl. That's the funny bit. It's great. Kisharika's great. How could
I
you not
would
like
make her an
Kisharika?
actual child.
Because she's
Nah.
Because
sexualized.
it's funny that
EliteAri,
way. It's
idiot.
funny that she is older, but she's not older. It's crazy. She is sexualized, and that is a big element to it. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Anyway, what the hell was I up to?
Also, we've
Reminds
seen
me
her
of
in like
what
one
show I'm
scene.
actually watching here. See, Mushoku Tensei is great when it convinces me it's not Mushoku Tensei. And then I'm reminded
Yeah.
it's Mushoku Tensei. And then I go back and I'm a big sad.
EliteAri, the more I think about Bacon's would-be video, the more I think it's just like every other video of Mushoku Tensei about how problematic it is. Have you seen any of these videos, Bacon?
Dude, I've watched plenty of them.
Yeah, but Bacon,
There's
you could make
millions
the
of
best
them.
one. You could be like the example that everyone goes to, and they're like, "This is this."
No,
everyone look
I
at
would
this
make
video.
the best one.
No,
Of how it's
maybe,
problematic.
Yeah, that could be you, Bacon.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's lots of things that can make that problematic. Anime of the year 2022, Cyberpunk. That one's problematic. No one talks about that.
Oh,
Crazy, I know, right? So,
Neither me
Anyway.
nor Ari have seen it. I know that because it was on our little short list we did, Bacon. Get
do you have
excited.
Gurren Lagann on your shortlist?
nah, I've seen
I
it.
was just thinking about that.
No, because
Have
Ari's
you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, did you think it was the greatest thing of all time?
I think the last like 4 episodes are like the greatest things of all time. The rest of it is really good, but it's not the best things of all time, I would say. But yep.
Dude, it's all the
What do you
last
think,
bits. It's just consistently pretty good. I do remember liking the ending quite a bit, actually. But I think I definitely...
There's like
probably-
spirals.
All right, enough. All right,
anti-spirals.
no Gurren Lagann spoilers here. So they leave the labyrinth again, and Rudy wonders if Zenith is going to be okay with how slow they're taking things. But then he looks to Roxy and concludes it's better to be safe than to cause further issues. And this took me back to the argument last episode where Kyle's like, Guy should probably rush and tell him now, and they should run to the place right now.
That's not what I said at all, you fucking liar.
It is exactly what you said. Only half of it was
I
a joke,
listened to that
though.
discussion many times. I was correct every
You
time.
were absolutely not correct. Anyway,
Correct as I always am.
so Rudy and Roxy spend some time together in the city. They go shopping and they find a cool, expensive sword for EliteAri, which is really cool. And he lunges it and like a wind comes out of it or something. It's like, whoa, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, did they buy it? I thought they didn't buy it because it was too expensive.
Yeah,
But
they
then
bought
it
it.
looks like they did buy it later. Yeah. So I initially
I
thought they
didn't know I
didn't
was
buy it,
bad.
and then they show EliteAri's fighting with it later. I was
Yep.
like, oh, okay.
She like
I'm a
has
bit
a moment.
confused.
Well,
where
you
she
know,
looks
I
at-
just do something else when these idiots are fighting. You know, fighting scenes are lame. Time to check.
Even when
Twitter.
EliteAri's fights, though, Carl,
Yeah, she's pretty cool, bro.
fake fan.
Yep. They go to a bar, and Roxy talks about how they almost met in Windport, but she didn't realize until way later. Crazy.
True. They brought it up. That was pretty cool.
Yep. I like bar scenes in the show. They're always great. We got the Sarah one. We got this
Oh
one.
my god,
It's
she's
great.
like shaking the little cup in her hands, EliteAri,
Yep.
because she's so into him. She's
Mhm.
swooning, EliteAri.
Yep, indeed. Then Roxy, I think still at this bar, she gives a little bit of context to her pre-season 1 life, and she's kind of explaining why she cares so much about Paul and Zenith. So, before season 1 of the anime, she had a fight with her master at the University of Magic and had no job and nowhere to go and ended up at Buena Village, and she stayed there for a few years. And back then, she was afraid of being looked down on, so she used to brag and exaggerate. And thanks to Rudy, she learned her limits. So, a little bit of Roxy context. I guess that all kind of feels in line with
And
her
she was
character.
blushing.
Yep, but she was also probably a little bit drunk, so maybe it's like to represent drunkenness. I don't know.
And blushing.
True. After leaving Buena Village, she went back to the basics and became a king tier magician, and her friends noted that she'd got matured emotionally too. Crazy. All right.
Now, EliteAri, there's
Yep.
king tier and loser tier and god tier and
Yes. Beginner, intermediate,
I don't remember.
advanced. I don't know. Saint, king, emperor, god. I think those are the tiers.
emperor, bro. Bacon didn't remember any of them, so I'm much better than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Kyle, list who are the king people we know, king level stuff.
Roxy,
True, king tier. I don't think they've said what king tier, but king tier magician. True.
water, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
True.
True.
And I
she's
don't know
blue,
anybody
right?
else that does magic.
No,
except for
well, we
Rudius, who's
know-
obviously the strongest.
We know Ghislaine is a sword king. She says that, and she's like paid
Only
more
a
because
king.
of that. Well, I mean, king
Yeah,
is
I
like
was
the
gonna-
Yeah, that sucks.
I thought she was stronger than that.
well,
But yeah, I
king
do-
is unbelievably
True.
strong. A king could probably.
Nah.
There's probably like I don't even. people are gonna
Could
kill me. in
probably
the
solo
comments.
Paul. Say
I'm
it,
gonna,
EliteAri,
I'm gonna be
spoil it.
so wrong. No, I was gonna say I think in terms of the whole world, in terms of kings, there's probably like 5 sword kings. I think like maybe that would be
yeah,
my
so
guess.
was that he fought the Sword King in the jungle, right? Or no, that
Oh,
was one of
boy.
the 11 gods or whatever.
Wait, who?
This was the
give you
cat
some
people.
names here. Who's
Rudius.
fighting who?
Rudius.
Wait,
Rudius-
the
when he
dog
met Ys
guy?
for the first time.
Yeah,
It was
the dog fight, the greatest fight in Mushoku Tensei.
That was I don't
Yeah,
I
Cox.
would that's not a king. There's no way. Let me look it up because people are gonna kill me. They're gonna be like, he is a king. There's no way he's a king.
What was his name, EliteAri? You don't even remember that, do you?
It was Gallus the Cleaner, I think. Oh yeah, it is. I'm a genius. What is he? Let's see. Oh, he's a North Saint. So he's below a king. He'd be on the level of, remember when Rudy was 5 and he cast that spell that was like Cumulonimbus and he did a big storm? That's the level that sword guy was at. That was a magic, a water saint spell.
Is Rudy is like what would Rudy be roughly at the moment?
I think
He doesn't get ranked.
No, he does in the light novel. I believe that when he's fighting Batagati and he casts, I also maybe this is like, I don't think this is fan canon. I think this is actually like canon, and they say it at some point. The spell that he casts when he's like charging up his stone cannon and like shoots it off at Batagati and kills him in one hit, basically. I think that's like an Emperor tier spell, probably.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Not even a god.
No, nowhere near a god, I would imagine. But there is a big
Oh my god, is that
discrepancy.
he's a
in-
demon king? So he's only King Batagati?
Well, he would maybe.
Or he's actually literally the king?
When it comes to these titles, particularly when it comes to like North Saint or Sword King or stuff, these are like kind of, I guess swords are, it's so it's not really that complicated, but there's like, you can get trained in this, for instance, when it comes to the sword, there's like 3 different styles, and they even reference one in this thing that I have notes on, but there's like the water god, there's the sword god, and there's the north god. And these are like 3 styles of sword that derive from people who used to be the best of that style back in the day. Like there was a water god, there was the water god, there was a sword god, there was a north god and all that. And these people kind of created their own schools and, or they had like apprentices and stuff, and they kind of certify when you kind of get to a certain level. Like the sword god might be like, okay, you're at the sword king level now. Like
So it's kind of like Japanese samurai. It's like I'm from the Watanabe
Yes.
clan and I know the Watanabe style.
Yep. That would be
Very
how.
Japanese.
Or
Yeah,
Washimane?
an interesting thing about Paul is
Doesn't
that
like
he
to be
is.
remembered.
I think Paul is advanced level in all 3 sword styles, which is kind of a unique thing because it lets him do certain things. So yeah, it's an interesting element.
So
to
he's
the...
mediocre at everything and not good at anything? I understand.
I think
Paul
it's no, it's the way they portrayed in the light novel is that it's very impressive because no one ever studies more than one style, or it's very rare to study more than one, let alone become advanced in all 3. Like,
Nah.
yeah. But in terms of like these actual ranks, I think there's like a world's difference between each of them. Like to go from like saint to like king is like going from, I think there's, it'd be like a massive, like an order of magnitude jump,
So,
I think.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, so it's like exponential.
Yeah. Like to compare, oh, how can I even compare this? Like to compare Roxy, who is a, no, I can't even do that. If you compare like, I can't do any comparisons here. I don't know. There's nothing I can even give you because they're all like spoilers and stuff. I don't know. Big different. I guess comparing, I can't even do that, but I got comparing Ruijerd, who in my opinion would probably be an emperor level, maybe a king level, king to emperor, somewhere between them. Comparing him to Orsted, who is undeniably a god level, is a world of difference, right? And all you're going up is like one tier there. So I don't know. I feel like there's a big world of difference between them. Anyway.
And are their characters kind of like, Ari, have you finished Freerun yet?
No, I'm like halfway through still.
Okay, cool. Actually, I want to say.
Excellent. Okay. Anyway. I like this. This is a fun element of the world and lore of Mushoku Tensei.
Would Revi beat Spike Spiegel in a fight?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I think she would. She's pretty cool.
Okay.
Would Roberta or EliteAri?
Absolutely. There is no question.
Even though her and Revi are equivalent. Actually, Revi probably won.
That's ridiculous. She passed out.
Remember when Ed with the booth cave?
All right, anyway.
And so Ed is actually the strongest?
So, guys, they re-enter the labyrinth and make it down to the 5th strata. And they're really lucky on this 5th strata because the Talfro roots fend off the enemies of the 5th strata. So they're just like, they're cruising through. Then they end up at a dead end where they have 3 choices of teleporters. And this is as far as the author of the book got. And the only information he has is that one of the teleporters is a trap. So this is where we get that little detail about Ghislaine being lucky, where the old party, the Fangs of the Black Wolf, whenever they had a moment where they need to kind of rely on like a luck or like a coin flip or something, they would always make Ghislaine make the choice, because if they made the choice, then they would always be wrong. So they always made Ghislaine choose. Interesting. Cool. That's all I have to say.
I wonder what Eris is doing.
So maybe I actually left this too long. So Carl, when they kept on mentioning how tall Rudius was
it's his thing
compared to her right now, like,
Uh-huh.
so does that like remind you of something? Like, oh, this is like a Carl talking point. I was wondering if Carl's.
Oh, the Full Metal Alchemist thing.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
even know what you're
funny.
talking about. Wait, what's the make the
Well,
point?
one time Winry turns, like Ed says something cool and walks away from Winry, and Winry's like, "When did he get so tall?
Oh.
I'm in love with him."
Mhm.
That was cute. I remember liking that, and then they ruined it at the end because Full Metal Alchemist is mid. Wait, what's the point here, Bacon? That I'm a hypocrite somehow?
No. I just wondered if you got to bring it up because they're just like, oh wow,
No,
he's so
I
tall,
wasn't. I
he's so
didn't think
tall, he's
about
so
it.
tall. Yeah.
I did think like that. Oh, that's a thing people say, Lamau.
Yeah.
But I
I
didn't
do think.
connect it
Yeah,
specifically.
I did like this part that bar scene mini because I feel like it was more interesting that like Roxy like gives good perspective on her character. I can't remember, there's something about it that I kind of liked, and I was like, okay, she actually feels like not just she's still an interesting character basically. So
Wait,
anyway.
what part made her interesting, Bacon?
Talking about like how she was like emotionally immature and then she
would kind of like
talked to her.
brag and like exaggerate herself.
Oh yeah, I
to-
remember.
Yeah, to feel more confident.
kind of thing.
Roxy is interesting. Like we have the whole, clearly she feels inferior in multiple regards. Firstly, we know that she can't use telepathy like all of the rest of her village, so she feels like an outsider ever since birth, basically. She sees her parents who like basically pity her like her whole life.
Oh my
They
god,
don't-
she's just like Rudius, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah, yes, maybe.
They're made for each other, Bacon.
She doesn't, in terms, that's like in
They're
terms of
both
her.
secretly really
Oh
old
my
too.
They
Oh
are.
my
They're
God.
so parallel. They're like, what a perfect match. What else was I saying? Basically, growing up in her own little village, she felt isolated and outside. Then she travels the rest of the world and goes to the human world. And again, she kind of feels isolated and outside because of how short she is and how she's always perceived as a kid. I don't know. Roxy,
that's right.
I do
She's
find
from
Roxy
the
interesting.
demon continent. I remember now.
True, she is. Yep. Anyway, what the heck was I up to? They re-entered the
The
labyrinth.
stairs or something, and there's
Oh yeah, so they have
Ghislaine
the
was
Ghislaine
confused.
moment. So then Rudy mentions that Nanahoshi might be able to figure things out, which he probably would, honestly. And Roxy asks if that's his girlfriend, and he laughs and says, haha, no. My goodness. Then
And she was so scared for a second.
she
Oh my
was
goodness.
indeed. Rudy says he wants to investigate a little bit, so everyone waits for him. And after after he's been stumped for a while, Paul talks to him. And Rudy says that this might not be the end of the
Gee, I
stratum.
wonder what this means.
Well, I am very, we're going to talk about this a bit. Rudy says that this might not be the end of the stratum, but Paul says it definitely is based on intuition alone. And Paul tells him not to try and solve things alone. Then, so Paul says he has something he wants to tell Rudy, but then he looks at Roxy and decides against it because it would ruin the team morale. He'll wait until he gets back to the inn. And Rudy says that those are famous last words, and Rudy asks Paul...
He's gonna die, bro.
Yeah, Rudy asks Paul if he wanted to lecture him about something, and Paul says it's something like that. He then talks to Rudy about using 2 swords now. One used to be enough, but now he doesn't feel right without 2. He's attached to both, and they have different roles. So, I want to know...
cleans the toilet.
Yeah, I want to know, what do you...
Oh
my God, Kyle.
that's crazy.
What do you guys think about this? What's going on here? What is Paul gonna say? What's happening? Explain someone.
If you didn't get it, Bacon, just check the Crunchyroll comments. They'll tell you all about it.
Oh, okay, wait. Actually, before, let me just say, this is a completely anime original thing. Paul doesn't give this speech
Of
about...
course it is, because it's retarded.
Yeah, he doesn't give this speech about like 2 swords or something. Because I personally, when I'm watching this scene, in the anime, I was very confused. I'm like, why is Paul saying this here? I don't quite understand. So what are your guys' interpretation here of what's going on?
Go ahead, Bacon.
Okay, well, so when Paul first moves next to Rudy, in between them is a line lies framed by their shoulders, basically. And so it to me suggests that, basically he was dating Align Lies, and then once Zenio came along, he likes 2, but then he lost Align Lies, then he also went back to 1, and then he got 2 with the maid. I can always figure her name, Lydia. And then it's basically, I think he's also referring that he can have Sophie and Roxy. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was that tough.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to what I think is tough about it. So that's your interpretation. You take the same thing, Kyle? That's what you also thought?
I believe so.
Okay. So, I guess from...
Except I didn't think about the Alana thing at all. So.
Yeah, can you explain, I guess, to me, from Paul's perspective in this scene, when he goes up to Rudy...
It doesn't really make sense.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand. What is Paul? What is he thinking in this moment? He's not actually married
to Lilia, right? Well, he might be, but he doesn't sleep with her or whatever. It's like a...
Well, no. That's all. That would all be correct. Like they did get married. And they do. He only doesn't sleep with her.
When did they get married?
I think when they were in Buena Village. I don't even know if we get that detail in the anime. Maybe. I think we might.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, maybe we.
So Zenith actually was convinced by Rudy to be okay with all of it.
Yes, kind of. It depends on what you mean.
Do all 3 of them sleep in the same bed?
I don't think so. But maybe, I don't know. I don't remember these details. This is volume 1 we're talking about. Oh my god, what was I saying? Oh yeah, from Paul's... No, firstly, yeah, Kyle, they are married, and he only doesn't sleep with Lilia because he just doesn't want to sleep with anyone until he saved Zenith. He just thinks it's just like a vow.
So before the inflammation incident, he was sleeping with both of them?
Yes, I am pretty sure.
Outwardly.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Because in terms of this... the ethics of Paul and Zenith and this world entirely. The only real...
start an open relationship by cheating. This is genius.
Well, the reason that they weren't in an open relationship to start with, which you would think from Paul's disposition that he would absolutely force the person he's with for him to be in an open relationship. But the only reason that he wasn't is because Zenith is an extremely religious person of Milis, just like Cliff, where it's like these are religious people from a religious capital with a religious family who, in their religion, monogamy is required. That's the only reason that they didn't have an open relationship, which is why it was so hard for...
Just like religion in our world.
I guess it is probably
destroying us.
It is, I'm pretty sure Milis would probably be an analog to some... I don't know which religion exactly. Maybe
Catholicism,
maybe Catholicism. I guess we'll see more about Milis, eventually, but...
Didn't they literally say they had a pope, too?
They do have a pope, yes, and that's, related to
I think we just figured it out, EliteAri.
Yeah, we'll see. Right?
Unbelievable.
I'm sure we'll get more on Milis one day, but that was the main reason the only reason that they were monogamous initially. I feel like I was leading to some grander point here.
Well, because Zenith was rather angry.
Oh yes, that's why she was angry, but eventually she was. They're raising a kid. They got Aisha. She eventually was like, okay, it's what, we're okay with this.
She wanted to send that bitch to the next town over, but she would have died.
She did, and that's why Rudy's like, you know what? Did you know that my dad raped Lilia? And then then he solved the situations, and it's like,
what against the religion.
Yeah, Lilia, you can stay because it's not your fault, even though it was her fault. That was actually an interesting dynamic back in season 1. I like that.
Yeah, that was sick. I loved it when she took the husband. That was great.
Yeah,
just like Roxy's taking the husband now.
Basically, this scene here where Paul is showing up and he's like, okay, from Paul's perspective, he sees that Rudy clearly probably isn't very aware of what's going on with Roxy. He's being a bit oblivious here. Paul has clearly picked up that Roxy likes Rudy. And Paul is saying in this moment, he goes up to Rudy and he's about to say I guess in this moment, he's probably going to point out, Roxy likes you and something. And maybe he said it was gonna maybe give him like a lecture or something. So maybe it was gonna say like, oh, you know, you have Sylphie, don't cheat on her or something, and that would probably ruin Roxy's morale and the whole party would be ruined or something. That's my interpretation of what was probably gonna go in this scene. Now
It's weird that he says morale. Like, it could break your focus if you're thinking about fucking Roxy instead of saving Zenith, bro.
Well, that's the thing where it's like it could ruin Rudy's morale, but it could also ruin Roxy's morale here, right? If the dynamic, yeah, that's also what I was thinking more. The Roxy's morale.
Oh, if he like has to reject her because he's married.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like Roxy's going to be like, yeah, like even at the mention of another woman, she's instantly like, girlfriend.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
Now, I'm just.
Do you think it'll be funny? A funny hypocritical moment, Bacon, where he catches them sleeping together and he says, "Rudius, that's just not very nice." That'd be fun.
I think there's also something about like
yeah.
the pull death flag, which is then lampshaded, but then like cooled out.
I think
but
it's
then...
just a joke. I don't think he's fucking dying anymore, Bacon.
Oh wow,
unbelievable.
I think what might happen, if anything, out of repercussions for this, is Zenith might get casted. Like she's a little retarded after we save her.
Wait, doesn't Casca have another name? What do they call her?
Elaine.
Yeah, she might get Elaine. There you go. All right.
Well, Casca got Elaine, not Elaine got casted.
So you would say
Elaine
Zenith
did
got
get
Elaine.
casted in the end. No, she got casted. Nobody knows what.
All right.
Like, what's that mean?
Yep. We'll get some predictions at the
with
end.
my words.
Anyway, basically, I don't know about this scene. It's a bit weird. I don't really understand what Paul's going through. It conflicts with what I thought Paul was saying in this moment, which was like to reprimand Rudy here, to be like, you probably shouldn't cheat. But it seems like in his advice, he is like, well, I mean, like you can have two women and they can have different roles and like they're like different. They mean different things to you and your relationships are unique between them. And it's kind of like, what's he saying in this moment? It's a bit of a.
I think it's to break the audience in slowly. I think
what?
that's what to the idea of polyamory.
Oh.
Dude, this is all the Reddit tech can talk about. They're just talking about Paul's quote. Yeah.
It's an anime original thing, so most of the analysis is probably about that line. I don't know. It's interesting to me. A lot of people seem to really like it. Yeah, but that's what they all say.
They like Roxy a lot because she's on screen being cute, and they're like, "But he's already got a wife, but that's okay."
Anyway, crazy. What a line. What an anime original line to put in, yeah. Then Rudy realizes that he's seen this room before. It's the same layout as the teleporter that they used in Bagarret, to get to Bagarret, but it's missing a staircase. And Geese finds the stairs, and they open it up, and then we get the cutest scene.
This is like a cool Del Toro Quest twist. Del Toro Quest would do something like this, and it's also a little book, kind of like a light novel.
So after
watch Del Toro Quest,
no, we're
guys,
not. Oh my god, maybe
yes, we are. Way better than Mushoku Tensei.
How long is Del Toro Quest?
It's like 48 episodes or something.
That's not bad. Is it done?
It's not
when
that
you
good.
finish it?
Yeah, it's done. The sub has an extra 12 episodes of like them fucking around afterwards, I think. But we'd watch the dub because we're cool.
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, after they open up the staircase, everyone slaps Rudy on the back, even Roxy. Who, this is the best scene, all right? This is the best, what do you call it? The descriptive realism, I suppose, where everyone is treating this as though it's like nothing. They're just slapping, Rudy on the back. And then you get to Roxy, and Rudy kind of like turns around and sees her when she's about to slap him on the back, but like kind of catches her off guard because he wasn't like meant to turn around at that moment. She was kind of like building up the kind of confidence to, slap him. I think this is a very cute portrayal of like showing just how inside her head she was in that moment, where she's like a bit unsure. Should I slap him like everyone else? And they're taking it so like it's nothing, but to me to like slap Rudy on the back is like a big deal. And it was like just showing the brief moment of her like building up to doing it is a very cute addition that I loved. So we love the storyboarder and director of this episode. Okay, they're geniuses. We love them.
We love Roxy.
We do like Roxy.
Number 2 character.
Yeah, who's number 1 besides Paul, I guess.
One day we'll see her again.
Okay, that's the end. No, it's not the end of the episode. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, Kyle's favorite character. True.
No, I don't like cats.
Wait, is it Sylphie? Is that your favorite character?
No, EliteAri,
it's not
Sylphie. No, it's not Zenith.
Who else could it be? Is it Eris?
Oh my god, you're just so smart.
It is?
EliteAri.
Oh, I'm a genius.
You're a genius.
Okay, thank you.
How much of that was an EliteAri bit? I think you just mind-fucked me.
Yep.
EliteAri, that is the end.
Rudy breaks in.
He just had the perfect answer. Like, I was like, there's no way he just thought that it was Eris.
But yeah, he faked it real good. That was very descriptively real. Much like Tensei.
Okay, I need someone to describe what you exactly mean by descriptively real.
It means it's like a real thingy on screen that reminds you of real life and is very unique or something.
Yeah. And for me, I
Okay,
guess it's
very
usually
nebulous.
You
doesn't.
got it from me, Bacon, so it doesn't actually
Yeah,
make any sense.
I did
He's
get it from
an
Kyle.
idiot.
Well, the thing is, there's like prescriptively real when it comes to themes, and it's like, oh, so there's like a theme in a story which the story's trying to tell you something, and it like hits really hard because it's like, wow, that's a very relatable and real life theme or idea. But then there's like descriptively real, which is like it's something is being portrayed in the screen. It doesn't necessarily have a big meaning behind it, but it feels like something that happens in real life. It's like an event or some little character thing that happens, and you're like, wow, I can relate to this in real life somehow. Which would be the, like Roxy building up the courage to kind of like slap her crush on the back, even though everyone else is taking it so like non-seriously, and it's like it's just a slap, like I don't know, stuff like that.
Don't know if that's the correct use of descriptive and prescriptive.
I don't know. I'm learning this from Kyle. Kyle, defend your point here. Go ahead.
I mean, okay, so like,
of course, it's correct. It's describing reality. You know, pretty literal definition there, Bacon.
Yeah.
So when I know about what I know about like prescriptive and descriptive, you've got like when it comes to like
Oughts
definitions of
versus
words,
not ought statements or
words.
whatever. Yeah, Bacon. We
No, when it comes to words, is like people are like things like being prescriptive is like I define the words along the lines of the dictionary. You know, whatever the dictionary says is what the word means, right? That is like prescriptive. We are prescribe the meaning. But descriptive would be like, oh, this is how the word is used, and I'm going to describe how people use it, and then come from a definition from there. So yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, when you want to say what is a continent, or give a definition of something, like you kind of get into language. It's probably one of the most like linguistics 101 topics. Not that I've done any linguistic, but probably pretty basic. But yeah, that's why.
Obviously, that's stupid, and we meet it in a philosophical.
Well,
sense
I
or
would
something.
say
I don't
if
know.
we're talking about in terms of like healthcare, then you can describe a condition, and a condition can be a descriptive thing, or you can be prescribed something to help your condition. So that's that's what I'm trying to use prescriptive and descriptive in terms of. But I don't know why.
You're not using the words to describe the same thing, like the same. Like
No, I'm not. Yeah, I understand.
When you prescribe something, you are told what to do, right?
Yeah.
Like you were told something. When you describe something, it's almost like you're
explaining something, but
you
not
are
without a purpose
observing
necessarily.
and trying. Yeah. Like one's authoritative, one's like almost bottom up. So it's like top down versus bottom up.
Well, wouldn't you say a theme?
Roxy's going to be button up next
down?
episode.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
All right.
I know, I just stole it from Destiny, but Bacon, that's all I did.
Oh my god. And I just stole it from Kyle, so who's gonna steal it from me? That'll be
Oh
fun.
my god.
All right. Anyway, Rudy. Oh yeah, now I have my second last note here, which is that, you know, the light novel did this scene way more interestingly. And when I say this scene, I mean just him finding out the trap and like, or not the trap, what do you call it? What do you even call that? The hidden...
The layout, the pattern,
No, there's like a word I'm looking for. The secret passage, I guess, is probably the closest thing. Anyway.
The secret entry, the hidden thingy. It's like a video game.
Yes, thank you. So in this, it's very simple. Rudy in the anime, he realizes, oh, this is like the other place, and he like tells Geese, "Come here, Geese," and Geese like taps on the ground, and then Rudy shoots a stone cannon, and it like all falls down or whatever. Now in the anime, in the light novel, it's a bit more of a struggle, and I have a quote here. Okay, guys, so. It's all the same setup, basically. So, you know, he's like, oh my god, there's like the same room, and Geese comes and he knocks on it,
It's
and
like
Geese
there's
is...
2 swords, and that's like your wives, bro, and that's crazy.
No, that's not in there at all. And then Geese shows up and is basically like, okay, Rudy, I want you to hit your stone cannon here. Is that okay? And then Rudy's like, okay. So he says, I unleashed my stone cannon at the appropriate area, sorry.
He's gonna unleash his stone cannon next episode if you catch my fucking drift. Bro.
The earthen bullet was deflected with a resounding clang, leaving the floor below it indented. Did I hold back too much? A little stronger than that, Geese said. You can do it, right? Yes. I increased the potency and aimed another shot. This time, a much louder bang went echoing throughout the halls as the floor collapsed, leaving a hole in its wake. So it's a very little detail, which is that Rudy initially struggled to open this thing. Now, I think it's not necessary, okay, but it's a little detail that kind of frames them going forward in an interesting light, where it's like, Rudy doesn't usually struggle with his stone cannon. Why has he struggled in this moment, and what does that mean for them going forward? I don't know.
Oh my god, magic is lessened, and that's why they can't beat up this dragon next episode, Bacon? That's what he was teasing?
Maybe. True. I don't know. I kind of like little details like that, which are like, you don't need that there, but it's kind of like, it builds a little bit of anticipation, which I like. Anyway.
Bit of foreshadowing and stuff.
Maybe, yeah. So then they head toward the teleporter to the Sixth Stratum, which is like the title of the episode. Crazy. And sick music is playing, and I love it. And it says, next episode, parents. Crazy.
Because you're going to see Zenith, bro. Oh, let's fight a dragon. Oh.
Yep. Well,
now I would also say comment on the music when they were in the town. Actually, I forgot they had like the guys playing the instruments, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool music." Do I just call that out?
Thank you.
I didn't notice any music. There was no music. You guys are lying. Also, so EliteAri, we got 24 episodes, right?
I actually have no idea, but yeah, there will be at least like 23.
So
I
we
would
got
assume.
1 episode to fight a dragon, 1 episode to sleep with Roxy, and then 1 episode to return.
And 1 episode for
think?
Paul to die.
Nah, that'll just be next episode. Okay, 1 episode for Paul to die fighting the dragon, and we beat him the same episode. Then the episode after for his funeral. Then the episode after we sleep with Roxy. Now, is Zenith going to get mad at Rudy for cheating? Now, that's interesting, because maybe we'll get some...
I have some details here. There's apparently, according to Wikipedia, there's going to be 25 episodes, so there's 4 left.
2-episode sex scene? This is crazy. We end every season with a sex scene, and by season, I mean part, and by part, I mean except for that first one, so I think we're on track.
Okay, well, any predictions you want to make?
Bacon.
I had nothing that I think would be like that interesting apart from kind of they go. I reckon, yeah, it's interesting. Will Zenith be like? How long will it take for her to recover? I imagine it will be a bit harder. Like it'll be a bit longer for her to recover.
Rudy's gonna be hard next everything.
Wait, when you? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like I think because with how much time they spent on like trying to help Roxy recover, like I imagine it would be even longer for. I don't know if she'll be like fully conked out though.
When you say recover, I thought you meant like recover as in like save her. You mean like recover, like assuming they already save her, and then okay.
Yeah,
Jesus,
like will it take the rest? Like I reckon we'll start the next season and she won't be fully recovered.
Okay,
It's not that hard to suggest.
Nah, it'll be like a scene. They'll be like, and then she rested for 7 days.
So for you guys, it's a foregone conclusion that they're gonna rescue her. Like it's like fact, like it's gonna
not
happen.
next season, but oh well, it's interesting. I just assumed. Yeah, I feel like they're definitely gonna.
Okay.
Because I think the last or one of the last scenes in episode 25 or whatever is gonna have to be whatever they're gonna do with the family scene, whether or not somebody's not there because we're sad because Paul's dead or something. I feel like we're getting that, but you have to sell it to Sophie, right? Especially if Roxy's there. Maybe they won't kiss. I don't know. Or maybe Roxy splits after... Oh my god, Rudy sleeps with Roxy Bacon, and then she finds out he's married, and then she gets mad and leaves like Eris did, and Sophie never knows, so we go back.
That's possible, yeah, I can believe that.
All right, well, any further interpretations of the man god's words about how Rudy will regret coming to Begarrett? Any other thoughts on that?
Because he's going to ruin his marriage by sleeping with Roxy, EliteAri. Aren't you paying attention?
All right.
But that doesn't sound very good, so let me think a little. Somebody gonna die, Bacon? If Paul dies, are we really gonna regret it? I guess they pretend that he actually cares about him, so maybe. And then maybe Alana dies. That would be a sad one. And then Cliff will be sad about it, and that could be a regret. And then, or he's gonna miss, or the regret could just be like Sophie gets attacked while he's gone or something, and he'll have to go and save her. I don't know.
All right.
She loses the baby because she's got little girl hips, little elf girl hips. I don't know. Dies in childbirth. I don't think we're doing that. That would be crazy, though. My God.
All right. Well, there's only one way to find out.
Oh my God. What if every time he gets a new girlfriend, the old one dies? That would be sick. That would be the most misogynist show of all time, Bacon. It would fit right into your video. Sophie's fucking dead. Yeah. Roxy shows up. Then Roxy dies as Eris comes back. And then we'll all be on Eris supremacy.
Why would that be misogynistic?
Because, you know, you're just when you need a new love interest, old wife is going to die. And that's the theme, EliteAri.
So why is that misogynistic?
Because it hates women and punishes women rather than the evil man pedophile that they're all in love with. I'm disgusted, personally.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we'll see if Mushoku Tensei is going to be misogynistic or not. We'll see the outcomes to all these predictions within the next 4 episodes. Unless we don't, it spans next season. I guess we'll see. And that will be, I guess, for us in... I don't know, like a day. Comes out pretty soon.
Oh my God, I can't wait. We're going to watch it tomorrow. Oh, this is going to be sick.
And with that, that's it. Thanks for coming. See you next time.